Today, we have the honor of speaking with Maya Ajmera, a distinguished alumna from NCSM's class of 1985. As the president and CEO of Society for Science and the executive publisher of Science News, Maya has led transformative efforts in education and science literacy and communication. She is also the founder of the Global Fund for Children and an accomplished author of over 20 children's books. Today, we'll hear about her journey from NCSM to social entrepreneurship, becoming a leader in expanding access to science and engineering, and fostering the next generation of innovators. We will also have a chance to gather insights for our current students. Maya, welcome. Of
Thanks so much for having me.
course. Just to start off, reflecting on your time at NCSM, can you share an experience that significantly influenced your career path?
I am the daughter of Indian immigrants. I was brought up in Greenville, North Carolina. My dad was a professor of physics at East Carolina University. My mother was an entrepreneur. I was in the fourth class at NCSSM, the class of 1985. So, in some ways, we were still the guinea pigs at NCSSM. But the one um, thing that really stood out for me in my 2 years was the mentorship program and being able to do research in a lab with an extraordinary scientist. And what made this so unique for me was I started doing science research in middle school. So I didn't want to wait till senior year to do research. I wanted to start my junior year. And I remember the mentorship coordinator telling me, well, Maya, if that's what you want to do, you need to go out and figure out who you want to work with. So I started knocking on some doors at at Duke University in the microbiology and biochemistry departments. And one door I knocked came alive. It was Dr. Vickers Burdett, who took me on to do scientific research. And the mentorship program is something very special. And to be able to work under a scientist or engineer to do original research is really a gift. And I wish this program could be replicated in every school in the United States.
That's wonderful, Maya. And how did this experience shape your personal and professional development?
So, one thing people don't talk about is working in a research lab is a very entrepreneurial sort of experience. And I say that, I mean, people think of entrepreneurship as sort of a business or an enterprise, but a lab is as well. And, doing research is about starting something new, about finding new answers. It's about being in a research lab and there's failure, like experiments don't work. So what happens? You don't quit the research. You take that failure or as a new data point or a new data set to tell you something else. So I would say that that experience in itself was very, very important in what I do now. I would also say that the teachers that I had at NCSSM were very important to me. Dr. Kevin Barkovich, my calculus teacher, or Dr. John Kalina, my physics teacher. They were both extraordinary professors. Um, and then lastly, it's the student body. It was a very, very diverse group of students and working in diverse teams on living with diverse people, right? On your halls. That in itself was a great gift in navigating the challenges of college, but also just in life in general, in the work that I do today.
That's wonderful, Maya. Now, delving into your interest in social entrepreneurship, how has your interest in social entrepreneurship developed during your years at NCSM? And were there specific individuals or events in addition to the mentorship program that inspired this direction?
So I wouldn't, I'm not sure social entrepreneurship, that word even existed when I was at NCSSM. You know, I, I would say that, there's some things that I certainly founded or was part of or led, like I led the Blue Mirror, the literary magazine. I think the area of entrepreneurship for me came from my mom, right? She was an entrepreneur, But the idea of social justice came from, my parents and being the daughter of Indian immigrants and seeing sort of having the opportunity to visit India, where my parents grew up, that led me to found the Global Fund for Children. I got a fellowship after college that allowed me to travel from Thailand to Pakistan for a year. And I had wonderful professors who said, if you really want to understand people and understand their aspirations, get a backpack and start traveling for a year. And it was actually in India where I say I had my moment of obligation. I was in a train station in northeastern India and saw 50 kids sitting in a circle learning how to read and write. And there was a teacher teaching the kids with flashcards. And I asked the teacher what was going on. And she said, well, these kids live on and around the train platform. They work, they beg, they sleep, they eat, but they don't go to school. So a teacher every day came and created a school on the train platform. And I said, what does it cost to run one of these schools? And she said, in dollars that I calculated, it was about $500 a year to educate about 50 kids with two teachers and a hot meal every day. And it was there that I had that moment of obligation. How do you get small amounts of capital into the hands of really innovative grassroots organizations and help them become scalable and have more impact? And so I founded that organization when I was 23 years old. I did not go on to get my MD, PhD, to the chagrin of my parents, but founded Global Fund for Children and built that for 18 years. And today, that organization has invested over $60 million in over 1,000 community-based organizations serving the most vulnerable children and youth in the world.
That's truly amazing, Maya. Transitioning from NCSM to founding the Global Fund for Children, and leading Society for Science must have presented challenges, right? Could you elaborate on one or two significant obstacles that you faced?
Sure. So let me keep going on that journey, right? So, as any person who founds an organization, after 18 years, I decided to let my baby go to college. And Global Fund for Children is now being led by two amazing co-CEOs. Um, but I took a sabbatical and I started teaching at Duke University. I was their social entrepreneur in residence as well as at Johns Hopkins. I wrote a book, started a family, and then I got a call to lead the Society for Science. And I laughed when they called me and said, would you be interested in being interviewed? And I said, I haven't done science, right? Since I was in college. I was a neuroscience major in college, but at Bryn Mawr College. But and my last published paper was in brain research in college. But they said, that's okay. You read science news. You are an alum of our competitions, the Science Talent Search, which was then called Westinghouse Science Talent Search. It's now called Regeneron Science Talent Search. Um, and we think, you could build this organization um, and take it into its next century. And so I got the job. And the Society for Science is best known for three things. One is its award-winning magazine, Science News. Second, it's its world-class research competitions, which include the Regeneron Science Talent Search, the Regeneron International Science and Engineering Fair, and the Thermo Fisher Scientific Junior Innovators Challenge, and then a suite of outreach and equity programs reaching millions of students to make sure that all young people can become scientists or engineer if that's what they want to be when they grow up. I would say, challenges of that we are facing all the time is this issue of misinformation and disinformation in the media. We were founded by E.W. Scripps and William Ritter over 100 years ago. They were a news. William Ritter, W.E. Ritter was a publishing magnate, and he was very concerned about misinformation and disinformation in his newspapers, especially about science. And go figure, right? And now, over 100 years later, we're still dealing with this as a challenge. And so, our newsroom, us as an institution, are working every day of how do we present factual data-based information to everyone to make informed choices in their life.
It's great, Maya. How did you navigate these challenges and what really kept you motivated during those times?
Well, motivation to me is having great mentors. I'm very, very fortunate to have wonderful mentors who've really guided me in um, challenges that we may face, right? I would also say my family is really, really important to me. They keep me grounded. Um, and I would also say I have a great team. One of the best things I can say is you hire really smart people to surround you, much smarter than you ever are, and you let them do their job, right? And I'm really, really thankful that I have a great team that have helped us get through challenges, right? And that's important.
Understand. Now, over your career, you've grown into amazing leadership roles in demanding fields like social entrepreneurship, that requires balancing professional and personal life. How have you approached this balance throughout your career?
Um, well, this balance is you find a really great partner in life, and I have a great partner, a husband, who shares in on the responsibility of taking care of our daughter. Um, I would say I've had really an extraordinary childcare situation that allows me to do the work that I've been able to do. Um, and having a great family network and friends. I would say life balance is one of my big secrets is before I go to bed, I watch really bad TV. So I'll get on Netflix or Apple or something and watch some TV. That's not bad TV. It's just something that gets my mind off of the real world and lets me kind of go into another world. And that actually relaxes me as much as reading books and exercising and being with friends.
Since NCSSM, has your perspective on work-life balance evolved over time?
Um, yeah, I think it has. It's about, as I get older, it's about taking care of yourself. When I founded Global Fund for Children, I was on the road all the time. I was traveling throughout the world. Didn't have time to take care of myself. And the way I would say to any piece of advice of anything you do to all NCSSMers, you have to take care of yourself and be healthy and eat well and sleep well and have um, a good network of friends and family to surround you. I would also say one of the great pieces of advice I've gotten from a mentor is stay away from people who suck the passion out of you. Just stay away from them. You should have people who challenge you constantly, but stay away from people who are naysayers. They're not good for you.
Thank you for that, Maya. Now, what additional advice would you offer to current NCSSM students that are aspiring to pursue careers in things like social entrepreneurship?
So I would say to all NCSSM students is find something you're passionate about. My mantra these days with young people is people used to ask young people, what do you want to be when you grow up? Right? What I say to young people now is, what problem do you want to solve when you grow up? So I ask all NCSSM students, what are the problems out there that are keeping you up at night, that you're passionate about, that you want to solve? And once you find that, then you'll figure out the roadmap of how you're going to do it. And whether that's the college major you have versus, starting a nonprofit or starting a company, or the books you read or the people you talk to. Once you understand that passion, that burning passion inside of you, um, I think that's the key to a happy and successful life. So I would say to NCSSM students, figure out that passion, figure out what problem you want to solve, and go for it.
That's absolutely wonderful, Maya. Well, thank you for sharing your experiences and insights. And before we conclude, are there any upcoming projects or final thoughts you'd like to share with our listeners?
Well, I would say to all the NCSSM students that you are part of our community in a very big way. We have many NCSSM students who compete in our research competitions, the Regeneron Science Talent Search and the Regeneron International Science and Engineering Fair. We hope that you are reading our magazine, Science News, to keep up with everyday science discoveries and innovations. And third, we work with your teachers through our outreach and equity work. Um, but I would say that NCSSM is a very important part of my life and has been part of my life ever since I graduated. And I know it will be for the listeners today too.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Maya.
Thank you for having me.